Alert, the host has started broadcasting the meeting on Facebook.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Yahweh's Kingdom Lifestyle Ministry. Introducing Counselor Tyrone Johnson. Welcome, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's good to be a part of this awesome opportunity. I'm so thankful to Brother Bradley, who invited me to be a part. And so
Indeed.
I'm excited.
Indeed. Welcome, brother. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to hear from you tonight.
Oh, yes.
So let me hear from you, brother. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, well, as was said, my name is Tyrone Johnson. I'm senior. I have been married for the past 20 years. I have three biological children, one son
Alert, Juliet, the host now.
who was 34, my two daughters, 26 and 18. And when I say biological, it's because I have a host of other adopted children, boys and girls, so many names to call. But one of them is named Juliet, just like you, Juliet.
All right. She must be pretty.
Oh, she is beautiful. And of course, I work as the assistant pastor at my church, which is called Judah Worship Center. I've been there for the past 18 or so years, 15 officially, but as a leader, ordained as a pastor since 2011. And of course, now I've been working at the Adolescent Health Center within the Ministry of Health, Department of Public Health, for the past 19 plus years. Working there as a facilitator for the Adolescent Health Desk, and then a counselor with the same Adolescent Health Center, working with young persons between the ages of 10 and 19 who may be facing difficulties in their lives. I have been also working, I am working with the Student Christian Movement, which is a youth program within the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture in the Bahamas. Our leader there, our president there, by the way, my senior pastor is Wendell F. Lewis, and our associate pastor there is Pastor Naomi G. Lewis, his wife. And just let me say on Facebook, and so that the world will know, they are celebrating 36 years of marital bliss on tomorrow. So again, I send congratulatory messages and salutations to them on a wonderful job they've done over 36 years. I was mentioning that I work with the SCM as the second vice president, which is the Student Christian Movement, a locally based organization, but was started back in 1963 by a minister who came from, well, he's a Bahamian, but he schooled in Jamaica, the Reverend Dr. Philip Raming, and he saw the need to start a youth program within the schools. And so in 1963, he established the Student Christian Movement. And since then, we've been functioning like that within the schools, going from school to school, setting up clubs within the school, within the limits of the school, and of course, following all the rules and regulations of the school. And I've been doing that for about 20 plus years, working primarily with the primary division of the SCM. And also finally,
Wonderful.
I've done so much work throughout the country, working within the schools, doing outreach from school to school, from island to island with the Bahamas National Drug Council, and the team there is initially it was Ms. Marcia Munnings, and so we've been doing a lot of work around the country and in the region, making sure the persons know the dangers of drugs and drug abuse. So that's it. That's a little bit about Tyrone F. Johnson Sr. I failed to mention that these shades are not just because I'm handsome and I'm trying to look cool, but it is because I can't see. I almost forgot that I couldn't see, really, to tell you the truth.
Wow, amazing, 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 amazing work you're doing. Really, that's commendable, and definitely would love to hear from you and look forward to what you're gonna share for us tonight. But
Yes.
amazing, amazing. It's a talent, it's a skill, it takes a big heart to work with our young ones at this time. I
Oh, yes,
mean,
it
with
is.
so much chaos all over,
Oh,
and
yeah.
these young ones are our future, and so
Yes. Yes.
definitely it's just a wonderful job for you to be and that
Well,
work that you're
yeah, I listen. I owe it all to the Almighty for this opportunity because back in '92 I could have been dead and gone, and that's how I lost my sight. I had a shooting accident that could have killed me, but um, the Almighty thought or saw something in me that He could use and preserved my sight, and not my sight, but my life.
did.
He may have taken my physical sight, but I still have insight and I still have vision. Therefore, I feel that whatever I do, all of the honor and all of the glory go to the Almighty, who is the source of my strength.
Amazing, amazing. Who can say, any hindrances can stop us from doing what we love to do, and the Father increase our territory through
Yes,
that,
He does.
isn't it?
Yes,
So
yes,
praise the Father for that love and blessings upon your life. Thank
yes.
you for what you do. Really, I commend you. I'm a registered nurse, but I don't think I could work with the young ones and the little ones. I
Uh,
always work with the elderly and
okay,
those that
okay. Well, you're doing an awesome job too. Julie, I didn't get your last name. What's your last name,
Oh,
Julie?
my last name is Alan.
Oh, Julie Allen.
Actually, my husband is from Dominica, West
Oh,
Indies,
okay.
lower down.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm you can guess what is my background.
Well, well,
I'm all the way from the other side of the world, the island of Philippines.
of what? What is it?
Philippines.
Oh yeah, that's
But
right.
I
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
live in Canada now. I live in Brampton, Ontario.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
I've been traveling to the Caribbean as well. I've been
Right,
to
right.
Bahamas.
Have you ever been here to the Bahamas?
I came a couple times to the Grand Bahama and to the Nassau.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah.
Nassau is where I'm at. We
Okay,
have a
I will
very
come and find you. I will
yeah,
come and
yeah,
find
that's
you.
fine. Well, we have a very popular doctor here, and I'm trying to remember Dr. Quilling. Do you know Dr.
Okay.
Quilling?
I'm not sure because if I come to Bahamas, I'm a tourista.
She is from the Philippines. She's an
Okay,
awesome
okay.
woman.
Well, well,
Yeah, she's
definitely.
an awesome woman.
I don't mind when I come down. I will come and find you, and we will get together. The
Definitely, most
father's will.
definitely. I will look her up tomorrow. I will look her up tomorrow, and I will let her know that I met a beautiful lady by the name of Juliet
Julia,
from the Philippines, and I'm sure she will connect with you herself.
definitely, definitely.
Yes, yes,
So, all right. So, no further ado. Let us hear from you and the most awaited time. Let's
yes,
open the platform.
yeah. Well, is there any particular topic that you want to deal with this evening? I leave the floor open. But if there's any particular topic,
Okay, well,
um,
first thing, I enjoy actually coming online because as much as I was called to do to share some health tips or anything like that, I
hmm,
specialize in cardiac nursing, but at the same time, I have some experience in other areas, but definitely I would like to center on your specialty because I mean, man, oh man, it's just something that is very
yeah,
challenging at this time. Very important, though. Very, very,
it is. It is, and
very.
worldwide, it's not specific to any one particular um, continent or country or island or region, but it's a worldwide situation where young people are going through some serious challenges as they develop. And as they are going through these challenges, as they develop, they have poor decision making skills at times, from time to time. And sometimes people wonder why do young people make some of the decisions that they make? Do you know that for the most part, plenty of them, a lot, and in fact, the majority of our young people do not know how to make wise decisions because their development does not allow them to do so. And a lot of parents don't understand this. A lot of parents haven't come to grips with that reality. And it is no fault of the young person. Now, I am not saying this for young persons worldwide to use this as a crutch for them to go ahead and make unnecessary mistakes or to do things that are not normal for them to do or to make poor decisions because they realize now, okay, I can't help myself. I cannot make wise decisions. That's not why I'm saying that. I'm saying that so that parents could understand, and that so that young people can also learn to manage themselves, knowing full well
Mhm.
that the inability to do so is high, and it's because of the developmental process that they go through. And so it is necessary that young people understand that fact. The brain develops from back to front, okay, and in the early developmental stages, not so much the physical side of things, but in within the brain itself, it develops certain essentials for humans to survive and to live in this world of ours. So from back to front, they develop the area for foundational learning skills. All right,
Wow.
um,
Mhm.
and then from in the middle section, and this is why a lot of people are making some very bad mistakes or poor decisions. In the middle section, you have the developmental area of sensations and excitement, pleasure, joy, um, uh, and the sensuosity that we all possess. Okay, that's in the middle area. In the frontal lobe, then you have the development of our reasoning and rationality, ability to make wise decisions, ability to assess situations before acting on them. And that takes place when you're at least in your late adolescent development stages. All right, let me go through the stages of development. Adolescent development starts at 10 in most persons. In fact, the United Nations recognized 10 to 19 as the official age of adolescence worldwide. So if you use that scale from 10 to about 12 or 13, and this is in boys and girls, you will have early adolescent development, which includes self-identification, learning skills, the ability to access or understand who you are as a boy or girl. And then when you get to like 14, 15, 16, you have the middle adolescent development stage, which involves, again, the things that please us, the ability to make decisions based on what we like. After we have identified ourselves at 13, 10 to 13, we then go into the area of understanding what it is we like and what we want to go after. Okay, the full development does not complete itself until 17, 18, 19, and even up to 24 in some cases. All right, and so that is the area or the time in which young persons are understanding how to make better choices. Sometimes, in a lot of cases, they wish that they had this ability before this age, because a lot of times, and I'm not saying all the times, but most of the times, or a lot of times, the poor decisions have already been made. And so a lot of persons go through a period of regret, self-punishment, um, unforgiveness, and all sorts of other emotions that have to do with the decisions that were made. And they wish that they could go back and change things to better themselves. But again, it's just never going to happen that we can go back in time. So if a lot of our young people would understand these developmental stages, it would be better for them to understand themselves. A lot of our young people go through this peer pressure period, and it is very deadly because sometimes you try to do what your friends encourage you to do, not understanding how detrimental it may be to your health and to yourself. But by the time you realize, it is just too late because the mistakes have been made. It's not too late to change, but you can turn it around and make it different. But you
Right.
can change the way you behave going forward. But a lot of times, a lot of our young people do not realize how dangerous peer pressure is. And peer pressure consists of friends or persons who have a great influence over another and who encourage them or encourages them to do things that they should not or would not ordinarily do. And that is a very dangerous aspect of adolescent development, peer pressure. It leads into all sorts of things: drug use, teenage sexual behavior, promiscuity, pregnancy, all sorts of unnecessary things, even to the point where some of them decide that they're going to leave home and go missing for days on end, hang out with people who they don't need to be hanging out with, going to parties and clubs, and just getting a taste of the world that they really don't need to experience. In fact, a lot of them get involved in pornography. Some of it is not the choice that they made, because at the time they were involved in these pornographic films, they were induced by drugs to do so. And so a lot of times they see these videos of themselves and they don't have any inclination of how it took place or where it took place. And that is because of the fact that the person who they hung out with used drugs to get them to do that. Another issue of peer pressure is the social media aspect. And again, as good as this social media is, like right now, it's doing an awesome job getting information to the world or to whoever is interested in watching or listening to these excerpts. But it can also be a very dangerous tool to persons who do not know, or to young people who do not know how to assess the danger involved in social media. In other words, there are young men or even older men, older than 17, 18, 19, even to some extent 30 and 40s, who prey on young people on social media, Facebook and others, and and pretend to be 13 or 14-year-old girls like the victim might be. They then encourage them to sneak out of the house around 12 o'clock and uh, have have a some sort of outing with the young person, and then after that they realize when they sneak out of their mom's house or sneak out of wherever they are in their comfort zone, they find themselves in a precarious position and can't get out, and are then sexually assaulted or taken advantage of by the older gentleman. And so that is a serious issue as well. And I know it's worldwide, it's not just here in the Bahamas or in the region, but it is worldwide. And I think um, we need to be very, very cautious as it relates to what people are telling us or what people are encouraging us to do. So
Wow.
there, Juliet, is just a small taste
Wow.
of what pressures and what situations, what challenges young people are going through in this age and in this time. I remember when I was 17, 16, which would have been just a couple years ago. I didn't have those. I didn't have these same challenges. They were a little different. I don't know if it was because of the home bringing or if it was because of um, the slowness of the pace back then, the lack of diseases and other things that would have harmed us. Not so much drugs was around then, and really not a lot of persons were exercising their sexual prowess back in the day when I was 15, 16, 17, like it is today. And
Yeah.
so you can understand the pressures of this sexual thing with young men who don't want to be virgins or don't want to be classified as virgins, or young ladies who watch their friends have babies and become mothers, and so they feel it's a good thing if so many people are doing it. And there is this misnomer that everyone is having sex, and it's not so. It's not
Wow.
so. It's a misnomer. It's a falsehood. It is a myth. But because that is the perception, a lot of people get caught up trying to please their friends. And so we have a whole lot of situations, a whole lot of social ills that come out of it. And then, of course, the parental or lack of parental guidance and supervision is another serious problem. And then we know why they're doing it. It's because they are trying to be the breadwinners, maybe because of the lack of another, or because of the difficult financial situation that a lot of families find themselves in. And so they feel as if this is a necessity for parents to be out working 12, 13, 16 hours a day. And the children are left to bring up themselves and to watch themselves. And they get involved in all sorts of unnecessary behavior. But that's another story for another day. So I'll stop right there, and maybe persons who are listening want to ask certain questions or want clarity on certain things. And if that is your intention, if you want to find out more information, or if you want to more explanation on certain areas, you can go right ahead and pose your questions. And Juliet, I now release it back to you.
Wow. You touch really major areas that it's been like an issue, social issue,
Yes.
challenge most definitely the parents, because sometimes it go overboard that you cannot talk to the child anymore, and
Hmm.
it just a stress. And
Hmm.
you know it's very rampant. I mean, you're right, it's worldwide. It's a challenge. Most definitely it's deep, it's getting tougher, worse than before, because I remember even growing up I back in Philippines, we are focused on house chores, work in the
Hmm.
farm, or something we have to do, our
Right, right.
homeworks, extracurricular activities, just to keep us
Yes, yes.
focused on youth development. And
Hmm.
most definitely, I mean, now it's just so uncontrollable, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't want to say it's a norm, but it's not really, it's not. It's a social issue, a problem for especially a challenge for the government, for the community, for sure for
Yes, it
the
is.
churches.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's a joint responsibility of these groups. I mean, the communities to support one another to how to better the lives of our youth today. And I so
Yeah.
agree with you because of this eh, um, social media, the peer pressure, the influence. They want to be belong because that age from 10 to be to most likely around 15 wants to belong to a group. They want
Oh, yes, yes,
to
yes,
be to be conformed on
yes,
the
yes. To be
character of
accepted.
that group.
Yeah,
They want to
yeah.
do things together. They are in one,
Hmm.
one unit to do
Yes,
things. But
yes.
again, how do you encourage the youth? Like, how do you attract the youth to participate in youth development, if ever there are youth development programs that will come up and
Uh,
arise?
well, that's a very good question, Juliet, because what a few of us personally now in the process of doing is developing a youth program for the community of which I live in. Of course, I've been working in this community with young people, but we see a necessity to expand our reach. And so the programs that you develop must be, first of all, they must be of involving young people at the stage of developing the program. The young people, they know what it is that they need or want and want to be a part of. They know what attracts them to the program. And so it is important that if you're developing a youth program for young people, that young people are involved at the stage of inception, and that is the development of the program, the proposal writing of that program should always involve young people because they're the ones who will tell you, yes, we like to do this, we like to do that. If you're going to develop a program for young people between a particular age and you are maybe 3 4 times older than that age, you may say, well, yeah, I know what it was to have been a young person, but ages change, not the age of the individual, but the ages of the time. The times change. What was attractive for me, which was, and I tell you the truth, the most attractive thing in my life when I was 10 years old was color TV. The first time we ever saw color TV was when I was about 10 or so years old. So what did we do? We didn't care about shooting marbles or playing hopscotch or jump rope in the street. Man, we were excited to run home and say, "Boy, we got a color
Yeah,
TV," because all along the only thing we saw was black and white, and so that was not
yes,
exciting.
yeah.
When the next exciting thing to me was when I was a little boy to have a telephone in my house for the first
Wow.
time.
I,
It was
I,
a red, pretty red um, digital telephone, and that excited me. I rushed home just to pick up the phone and call no one, or just to
and the
wait
one,
until
the
it rang.
rotary one, or is that the rotary one with the
Yeah, the rodeo one with the spin around, and then we did get a
you
digital one
wait till
after
it
that.
goes back, and then you
So,
wow.
Those were
I,
the exciting times in my life. But look at what today presents to young people. What does today present?
but you know
You
what?
know, it,
Yes. I mean, with the digital age right now, it should
yes,
be um a way of developing our knowledge,
yeah,
our talents, because it's so easily
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
accessed.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't know if it's more of consequence or passive
A benefit, eh?
approach for our
Yeah,
youngsters
yeah,
right now,
yeah.
because
It can be a benefit because if, like I said before, if it's used properly, it can assist. Because right now, a lot of person, well, right now in our country, because of the pandemic, which we haven't touched on yet, we have not involved the pandemic in our topic as yet. That is to come later on, and not today, but later on. But because of the pandemic, everyone has to use social media in schools. In Nassau, no schools are allowed to physically meet. All of our 50,000 plus students have to do schooling online.
oh,
So it is a benefit. It is a benefit at this point in time for our educational system to use it. Okay, even though it's a challenge because to have 50,000 students online in the daytime on their laptops or on their tablets or whatever device they're using, it overwhelms the system, and we only have a few internet providers here in our country, and so it is a necessary benefit at this point in time. And so look at the differences. I mean, magnanimous. If you look at what I had as a young child compared to what they have today as young people, all right? Every young person know how. I have a grandson who is 4 years of age. In fact, he'll be 4 years this month, and he knows how to download games on a tablet by himself, and I don't even know how to turn on a tablet.
yeah.
So the differences are there are huge differences, and so young people need to be a part of any development of a program that you want for young people. That's the first point. Secondly, again, using the young people, they must come up with strategies that will attract young people to them through activities that they know young people would do. All right, so you can't just have the boring sit down lecture style, formal style teaching. You have to. It now has to be involving what young people would like, the style of discussions, what young people would like, the style attractions and activities that young people would want. All right, and so you have to involve them. You have to. It's a must. Your program is going to die because it doesn't meet the needs of the young people, and that's why a lot of young people get boring or get bored in programs that do not interest them. They're going to leave quickly, just as quickly as you can get them in, because they're going to come. If you
Yes,
have something
definitely.
that attracts them at the beginning, like a teen juvert or some
Eh,
teen dance or something of the sort,
and
what's going to happen after that?
and
Because
also follow up, I believe, like it's
oh,
very important that somebody's monitoring and following it up,
oh
like
yes. Oh,
what is the
it has to have
progress,
that.
and a
Oh
part
yeah. Oh, yeah.
two somehow to moving forward. But tell me, brother Tyrone, is there any initiative measure that has been done in the past by the teaching community, by the community itself, um,
By the
that worked well, drawing this the attention of this youth? Um,
yeah, yeah, there has been, or there has been programs that were working back in the day when we were younger. again, if you, I mean, you have to use what we did as a measuring stick for what we're going to do. And so when I was a little fellow, the Royal Ambassadors worked. When I was a little boy, the Pathfinders worked. Um, and all of these, the Boys Brigade are different denominations. Camping worked for all of these different denominations, and they worked back in the day. A lot of them have fallen off because we tried to use the same method, but for a different generation. In our SCM program, like I said, which has been happening since 1963 or thereabouts, it has evolved over the years. We don't have, when I first started in 2000, um, we had the regular SCM meeting where we would come into the children and talk about the Bible and share the good news with them, uh, and introduce them to the Father and introduce them to everything that the Bible entails. Nowadays, we've changed it. We have what was called jam sessions, where lunchtime we have a DJ come in and play music for a few minutes, and then an entertainer come for a few minutes and share a little bit of entertainment, and then we have another young person who knows how to cheer them up and make them excited, and then present the word to them. So it has changed. It's not the same format anymore. I think if you're afraid to change, then you're going to die. I don't mean the individual, but I mean, of
Yeah,
course, the
yeah, the
programs.
program, the motivation.
Yeah, the programs have to change with the times, has to change with the target audience, has to change to meet the challenges that are being faced at the time of its existence. We can't use the old method for the new age. There's a quote in the Bible: "You can't pour new wine into old wine skins. It doesn't work."
No.
So we have to pour into the young people the things that attract them today. We may not like it, and tell you the truth, some of the gospel music, some of um, the music that's not it's not secular, but it sounds secular. I was listening to a song and I was trying to figure, should I tap my feet to this or not? What kind of song is this? A religion? Is this a gospel song? Or is it it's a secular song? But you have to listen carefully, and it attracts the young people. The young people like it, so you have to use it. When they hear me singing these songs, the young people in my church, they say, "Pastor Jay, how you know about these songs?" I say, "Well, I have to listen to them, my brother, so I could know what you like and what you don't like."
Yeah.
So we have to change with the times. We have to. The old programs are fine. We just have to evolve with the times. I know um, a lot of people don't believe in evolution, and from a biblical standpoint, I don't believe in evolution, but I believe in evolving. I believe in the evolution of time. We're not changing what humans are, but we are meeting them at their point of need.
Yeah.
And so that's what I believe, and I believe we have to change with the young people.
Yes, definitely. I agree with you. I really agree with you. And change can happen anytime. Um,
Mhm.
the focus of um,
Sorry, go ahead.
that's okay. Our focus is, if for their benefit, then most definitely we could agree at some point that there there there's definitely a change, a cooperation, if we can only identify some meeting points um,
Hmm.
to their interests. Most definitely, they are our future, and it's they have all this energy, this creative mind, should be
Yeah, yeah.
utilized. But I believe I have three daughters and a boy, and it's I haven't reached that point of adolescent stage yet,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
definitely I'm most not scared, but challenged. How can we keep them safe?
Yes, yes,
How
yes,
can we
yeah,
keep their minds focused on what is spiritual, what is healthy, what is
yes.
um, positive, and most
Hmm. Hmm.
definitely
Hmm.
we have to work hand in hand, and the cooperation of parents. We cannot avoid all this, because of the system right now. Everything is rising up, so the breadwinners, the providers has to work, and so we cannot put everything into the parents, because they have to provide, they have to work, and so the time maybe spent with the quality time with the children
Hmm.
is not much available as before. Both parents are working, or
Yes,
one
yes,
parent has to work far away from home, and the older children are left with the younger children to look after sometimes, because I remember growing up. But
yes,
there's more of innocence, sense of responsibility when I was growing up, but I don't know to the extent how it is with our youths right now. They're encouraged to, I mean, they're obliged sometimes, because they want something, work to do to sustain their needs, like to pay their cell phones. They sometimes they have to find work to also sustain those
yes.
um,
The personal needs.
wants.
Yes.
But yeah, well, most definitely, I mean, we need the cooperation of other organizations focusing towards this works involvement of our
Yeah.
youth. I think once we get them involved and do something more interesting and gearing toward protecting, or something more positive, then we could
Yes.
probably start from there, introducing more, because I do believe that the most strength that I get from whenever every challenges is the scripture, and the strength from the Father, and that
Yes.
I I believe that what we need to also you know develop, which is I really impressed of what you are putting it all together
Hmm.
in all your areas of expertise, and
Yes. Yes.
I believe it's the talent and the wisdom and the area that the Father, position that was given to you.
Oh,
make
yes.
use make use of all your talents, and drawing all these youth to keep them safe.
Yes.
But yes, go ahead, brother Tyron. What else you can
I know you
share
mentioned.
tonight? I
You mentioned your daughter. You said three daughters, eh?
I have three daughters under the age of 11.
The three of them are 11.
My first one is 11, and one just turned 10,
Oh, yeah.
8, and then my youngest is a boy. He's 6.
Okay. Okay. You have pretty.
So they're
It's just.
coming there. They're coming at that point. But being a girl is, I'm the only
You
daughter.
just.
I'm the only daughter. I have three
You
younger
just.
brothers,
Uh,
and I remember how my father was so protective of me.
hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
I'm not allowed to have boyfriend, or going out 5 o'clock in the evening or afternoon. I'm at home. Everybody else has to be at home. Nobody's allowed to go out, or
No.
anything like that. When the sunset done, that's it. Everybody inside,
Everybody must be
and the dinner.
indoors, eh?
So I couldn't imagine like how time changed, and so is the character,
Yes,
the
yes,
well, the
yes.
environment.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, the
Things have changed a whole lot.
well, everything like
Yeah, things have
the
changed a lot.
diet, the diet of your our
Oh
youngsters.
yeah,
I
yeah, the
mean,
diet.
like their
Yeah,
go-to
health and nutrition.
fast
Yeah.
foods. Like it's a lot of change, but I do believe that something has to be done, and
Mm-hmm.
um, expand all these works to encourage our youth, because I mean, I don't know if it's a coincidence that 2 weeks ago I discussed on you child development, and
Mm-hmm.
how the adversities that they face from childhood
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can incur a long-term um, problem when they face some
Yes.
adversities later on, because it depends on the nature of the adversity, the extent. It
Yes.
can incur chronic illnesses, and all this, and the success overall in their lives, and
Yes.
protecting them from trauma, from
Mm-hmm.
bullying,
Yes.
those
Oh,
alone, or addiction, because I
yes.
mean,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
just so, I
Yeah, but
mean, the youth.
the problems that you're mentioning, they're vast, and they all involve adolescence at the offset. Um, the thing is, what we've started here in the Bahamas, and I think maybe in some other parts, I guess around the world, because I'm not saying only here, and I can't give evidence to say that others have started it. I think they should have, I think they would have, but we've started working with our children as early as grade two, one and two. In some cases, even in the kindergarten area, because you have to inform these young persons as to what the future is going to be like, what they're going to face, what challenges they may have to encounter or confront. And and so it has, over the past, I would say, 7 to 8 years, we've seen a significant turnaround in some of the young persons that we started to work with since grade one and two, and follow them through till they are now, 8 years later, uh, ready to come out of school. But their decision making process has changed a whole lot, and
Zoom meeting.
um, it is attributed to the fact that you introduce them to good information, information that is positive, and information that will help them to do what is right, rather than to do what they may feel. So as they get older, like if they're in grade one and two, they're 5 and 6. 8 years later, they are 14, going on 15, and their ability to choose different things, their ability to make wiser choices. Mind you, some of them still do the things that young people should be doing at this time, and that is making decisions that could get them into problems. But we've noticed a significant reduction in the amount of the children that are doing what is right. We have also compared that, and of course, this is not a scientific study, but we've looked at the children who would not have been in our program from grade one and two, from different primary schools coming into junior high schools, and it is a notable difference. So we're going to seek to spread this around our schools to see if we can bring about positive change, a larger reduction in the amount of young persons, young people getting into the kinds of problems that they don't need to get into. And so that's one thing that I think we can, you know, statistically use with evidence-based information to bring about positive change. Um, but it is a work in progress, and you know, we 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 do not just um, we don't just talk about the Father and not mean it. We show through our lifestyles the benefit of knowing everything that there is to know, and to inculcate the Father in your life. Let Him be the centrifugal force of your life. Center your life around God, or with God in the center of your life. It is important that that is done. It is important that the Father knows, or you know what the Father's will is for your life, and you follow that. I think that is one of the most important factors in young persons becoming successful. Knowing the will of the Father and following it, and not being fake, in the young people's term, being ops. We cannot do that anymore. We have to be sincere, and we must mean what we say we mean. Um, but if we don't do it, and if we don't follow the stringent guidelines of the word, then we're gonna make a whole lot of mistakes, and that is profoundly true. And if you look at many of us who have made mistakes in our lives earlier, you can see where that
Yep.
is you can prove it.
Yep. Yep.
And so a lot of people, they just look at all of the people who have gone on before, because of the mistakes they've made. Those drug dealers, those um, drug users, those persons who lived in the fast life, those persons who decide to rob banks and take what they want rather than working for it. If you look at all of those persons, the criminals who were hardened, didn't care about rules and regulations, didn't care about the governmental standards, none of these things. They cared nothing about what the government was saying or anything. And they just lived vicariously.
Wow.
And we can see how it has ruined a lot of society. We have more males in prison worldwide than there are females. Um, and that is attributed to the fact that we didn't, as men, we didn't care too much about what the Father was saying to us. We didn't acknowledge His will for our lives.
Yes,
And so,
definitely.
I think if we can focus on that and be sincere about it, I think there's a gentleman here, Dr. Carlos Reed, did a presentation, and he said the Father gave the Son a puzzle to put together. And as he was looking at it, the puzzle, the young boy did it so quickly. His father thought, well, he's going to take a little while so I could go take a snooze, and came back quickly and said, Daddy, I'm done. Puzzle's put together. And he
Wow.
said, how come you did it so quickly, son? Look at this. The puzzle the puzzle on one side was of the world, and on the other side, the little boy said, well, Daddy, I just put the family together. And as I put the family together, the world came together.
Wow.
And I think if the family can be put together, if the family can
Yep.
be strengthened,
Yep.
if the family can follow the Father and follow the will of the Father,
Yes.
the world would be whole.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's it's the devil's goal to kill, steal, and destroy.
Mhm, mhm.
Most of the time they attack the marriages and the unions, and then the children, the future of the children, their happiness, their innocence, and everything else. So most definitely this is I could say maybe second stage of a bigger thing. uh, put together by, you know, I mean, I have a heart of our youth, and just think about my children coming to that age of youth, and I feel it, and I would like to, do something as well
Mhm,
on
mhm,
that
mhm.
part, and most likely maybe down the road we can come up with some ideas, and
Sure.
we can maybe start a town hall meeting with
Yes, yes, yes.
Tyrone Johnson, like something big and bold and loud.
Oh man.
Not
The sky
between.
is the sky is the limit, Juliet. Sister Juliet, the sky is the limit, Sister Juliet. The
Yeah,
sky
exactly.
is
Instead of giving away condoms, you give away something that they can take for life.
yes,
It's
yes, yes.
it's definitely, I could hear you. It's the family, like situation challenges right now is centered on the lives of our children, starting from baby, toddler,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
you know in, in 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 printing or implanting the word of the Father into their hearts, and walk, and walk with them. And if we can create a group or volunteers to
Yes,
work
yes,
with our youngsters, we need committed workers or volunteers, or just to work with our youngsters, and
yes, yes, yes,
the what happened to the tree planting. You guys had this hurricane in the past, and probably it's still, if it's not fully recuperating,
yes.
probably need some more, putting away some old damages and tree
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
plantings,
Yes, yeah,
providing necessities to the less fortunate. So those involvements definitely take away some screen times from our children, and
yes, yes,
it's
yes, yes.
what happened to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and going
Yeah,
up there,
yeah,
and
yeah. They're somewhat dysfunctional at this time, and I guess more importantly, because of the pandemic, there's no social gathering like that here in the Bahamas, and I think worldwide. But but
Mhm.
but now it's understandable that those are not happening. But when this pandemic goes away, we need to continue
Yeah,
using those programs as stepping
we'll
stools
see.
to our success.
That's true. Well, seeing
Hmm.
that, in North America right now is like, with all the everything is out of, like, within reach. I mean,
Mm,
there's no better place to come and work down the sunny islands, and start with our youth there, and see, and make it, maybe it can become a model country for youth development. And I
yes,
could see
yes,
that
yes,
definitely, I mean, I appreciate Caribbean people. They're very warm, like in the Pacific, very warm people, and very
hmm
humble, and
hmm
very, uh, you know, very smart, because it's like willing to work hard and believe in what you have, the culture, the belief, and most definitely we have to start from our youth. And thank you for what you do. Any last like message, and I wish we could have more time, but
No, that's fine.
yeah,
Proverbs chapter 3, 5, and 6 is my mantra. I live by it on a daily basis, and I share it with everybody wherever I go. And it was an awesome scripture for me
awesome.
when I was going through my challenges from sighted to blind. And of course, it simply says, trust the Father with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all of your ways, acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path, or he shall make your path straight.
Yes.
I'd like to close on that and ask that the blessings of the Father be upon everyone who has listened, to their families, to their loved ones, and particularly to the churches around the world. Blessings of the Father upon everyone, and especially you, Sister Juliet, and Brother Bradley, who invited me to be a part of this awesome program. It's my pleasure to share just a few words of encouragement to those who listened. Um, so good night, and I look forward to the next meeting every Monday at 7 p.m.
Definitely. I'm so excited, and I could say as much as I can. I can make that a meeting. See, we have to monitor this. We have to make it move forward.
Yes.
Definitely, it's the future of our children. And thank you so much for sharing. And
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I'm honored to meet you. I'm so pleased that somebody who cares dedicate their lives doing something that is really good, that is working on our youth. This
Yes.
is
Yes.
definitely their hearts are tender. Their hearts are very vulnerable to many kinds of uh,
Yes.
detriments out there. So kudos to you,
And same to
brother.
you.
Thank you so much.
Let me just say, well, really in closing, I sound like a Baptist preacher, but let me really say
That's
that
okay. Go ahead.
uh, uh, if you wanna reach out to me, you may call me on my cell number for uh, um, advice or for
Yes.
counseling. 1242 806 or yeah, well, I'm on WhatsApp as well, so you can reach me by WhatsApp if you wish to do so. Tyrone Johnson on WhatsApp, and just reach out if you feel the necessity to do so, or if you want me to share on any particular topic, you can send your questions and concerns to Brother Bradley or to Sister um, Juliet or to myself, and we will address them as time transpires or as time goes on. So again, good night, everyone. And again, Juliet, nice to have met you. God bless you.
Yeah, same to you, brother. Same
Yes,
to you.
man.
I'm honored to meet you, and all the best and
All the
blessings
best.
to your
Yeah,
family, to everyone out there, to our youths out there. And may the Father enrich you and increase your territories. And I'm so look forward to this. Praise, yeah. Praise
yes,
the Father, Almighty Father.
yes,
Thank you so much. All right, Shalom. Have a good night, brother,
yes,
and have a good night, all the brethren out there. Thank you
yes,
for being with us,
yes,
accompanying us onto this wonderful discussion. And really, it's in my heart for this topic tonight. And I'm so blessed that we are in one accord. And that's what we need at this time. We need
oh
to
yeah, that's what we need in
pursue
this
things
season. Yeah.
with the work of the Father. So thank you so much. And
Thank you too, man.
have
Thank
a good
you.
night, brother. Rest
Good-
well.
Yes, definitely will.
All right. Okay, then.
Okay, right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Uh,